Hello, Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. Joining me today is Heather Somerville Gonzalez, VP Global Channels of Morpheus Data. Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love Women of the Channel, and you're doing a phenomenal job with the Leadership Network. So this is just really an honor for me to be here. So thank you very much.
Well, I am really excited to get to know you because I see your name popping up all over the community. So this is going to be fun just to spend a little time together and then allowing all of us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Thank you.
So let's dive into those icebreaker questions. Where do you live and where did you grow up, if that's different?
Fortunately for me, they're one and the same. I live in San Diego, California, Carlsbad to be specific. And I grew up just a little tiny south of here in a town called Encinitas. So I've been in San Diego the majority of my life. I've had the opportunity to move around a little bit, but yeah.
Yep, I'm very familiar with all those places. I envy you of that. So beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what is a little known fact about you that you're willing to share with all of us?
Yeah, I am huge into volunteering. I believe that it's important to give back even when you think you don't have time. So I volunteer at the San Diego County Animal Shelter. I walk dogs, I clean kennels, I try and make their lives a little bit better. When my daughter was in high school, we did National Charity League, which is a mother-daughter philanthropic program, which was amazing. And when she went off to college, I really kind of missed giving back. So I started helping out at the animal shelter.
Oh, I love that. I don't know how, you have to be so tough to not want to just take some home with you. That would be my problem.
That is absolutely true. Yeah. And some people say, doesn't it make you sad? And my response to that is, it's not about you and how you feel, but it's about how you make the animals feel. So when you have that feeling
Absolutely.
behind it, it just feels really good. Yeah.
I love that. What a great answer.
Oh,
So true. I love it.
thanks.
All right. Well, let's switch gears and dive more into the professional with some questions. I'm going to start us off with, what are some patterns you've noticed over the years about women at work and things that they could be doing better to advance their careers?
Yeah, absolutely. I've really noticed that women don't advocate enough for themselves. I don't know if we women think it's too braggy or boastful to advocate for themselves, but if you want to move up, you really have to speak up. So, I find that, for me, we're in a new year, right? So I like to take the time to sit and reflect upon what I did the previous year and write that down. There's a saying, and it actually kind of makes me laugh. It says, "The older I get, the better I was," and I think about that in terms of business. Like, okay, well, what did I do last year that maybe I didn't realize it was good at the time because I'm just trying to get through my day or through my quarter or through the year. But when you sit down and you write it all down and numbers matter and you put numbers to it, right? You grew the business X%, or you drove so much to the channel, or, you put together this program that delivered X to the company. Putting that together and sitting and reflecting on that, you go, okay, there's my brag pack. That felt good. What's next? And then you make an appointment with your boss and you communicate that. Like, this is what I did. This is what I think I'd like to do next. And by the way, I'd really like to advance in the organization. So can you give me guidance? Can you recommend a mentor or tell me other areas that I can focus on? So I think there's, that advocacy that you put forward will really help you in your career. I also think that leaning into your network and talking to your network about your successes and what you've done will also very much help you, especially if there's this sisterhood like Women of the Channel that you can lean on and, and communicate what you're trying to do and see if you can get feedback from them.
That is such great advice. I am definitely one of those people that will advocate for others easily, and then I'm like, don't be shy, you did amazing, or like whatever it is that I'm cheering them on for. And then when it comes to myself, it's like, no, I don't really want to tell you, but
But you have to. You really
it's
do.
so good the way you put it. I was like, huh, that does
Yeah.
not sound like bragging. That's reflecting and being very intentional with what did you accomplish, and what I like that you put, and what's next.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
good.
And I love what you said, because always lift as you climb, right? When people are helping you, and your boss, your network, other females that you think have potential, bring them along as you grow.
I love that. All right. Well, how do you balance the need for self advocacy with self care to maintain a healthy work life balance?
Yeah. So this one is super important. And I am a huge proponent of self-care, right? And for me, that's exercise and meditation. Funny enough, when I started here at Morpheus Data, I, I having a global position, I can be on calls at all hours, and I'm typically a morning workout person. It
Mm-hmm.
really threw off my schedule. So my self care had slipped away. And one day I came on a call, and one of my colleagues, whom I adore, said to me, "God, Heather, you're in a really great mood. What has changed?" Not like what has changed, but what happened today? And I,
Yeah.
you know what, Hank, I started working out in the mornings again. And thank you for that reminder, because you just reinforced how important self care is. So yeah, it's funny, because even the best, the people who really are strict about it, and I've always been strict about it, can let it slide. So exercise, meditation, whatever it is your self care is, getting a massage, it's so important to do that. The other thing I think, for work life balance is prioritizing your day, right? So if I know that I am best in the morning, so that kind of mid morning after my workout, I've got a lot of adrenaline going, my brain's functioning. I like to focus in on the biggest tasks at that time. And then when I get those done, I feel better, right? So I feel good about
Yeah.
my day. I can go home at night, right? So that's that balance, right? That work life balance. You feel good when you go home. So I think prioritizing your day and setting boundaries, and even blocking off your calendar when you know you can really be effective, that's super important. My
That
Sorry, please
Oh, I
finish.
was just going to say that's so funny that you said that. Like, I just recently asked my manager, like, hey, can we change the time for 2024 on when we meet one to one? Because the end of the day, it's like I'm gone,
Yeah,
scattered,
yeah.
just task oriented at that point, trying to knock up, close up for the day. And that is not my best time of day. So I love that you pointed
Good
that
for
out.
you. No, that's awesome. See, reflection, right? Making sure that you're doing the things that you're putting in the hours that will best present you, the person you want to bring forward. That's awesome.
Mhm.
um I'm also for work life balance. If you have a village that you can lean on, if
Mhm.
for me, I have a husband. I empowered my husband to do a lot of the kid stuff. I think women have a hard time empowering their husbands to do stuff. I was lucky enough, my whole family's here, so I leaned on them. So, lean in on your village. If you can afford a dog walker or a housekeeper to, help you maintain your sanity, do it. It's that
Mhm.
those are dollars well spent. And then finally, really, I kind of have a mantra that you need to buck this on the clock thing, or philosophy, or I don't know what we want to call it, but your uh, if your company knows that you're going to get stuff done, it's okay to cut out a little bit early in the day to go to your kids' basketball game or water polo game,
Mhm.
or take them to the doctor appointment, or if you have a parent that needs assistance, right? Your company is going to get their whole 8 hours or whatever out of you, but it just might not be in those consecutive 8 hours. So take advantage of being there for your family while also producing for work, because you can do that, some of that work stuff, late at night or on the weekend. So kind of buck that status quo of I've really got to be here now. Because if you're not fulfilling the needs of your family or the needs of yourself, it's you're just not going to perform well all around.
That is such great advice.
Thank
Um,
you.
I mean, I couldn't
I had to
agree
learn
more
from
with
the
you.
older on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, right from the start, like, if I don't do my workout in the morning, I can tell my mood by midday. Like, I didn't take that time for myself. I'm better when I do take that time for myself. And, just challenging this is, making time for things that matter to you and knowing that, having that flexibility. I like that you said buck the system, buck the status
Yeah.
quo. There
The
you go.
status
Yeah, I
quo.
love it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. What is the most important risk you took and why?
Mm. Okay, so a little bit of story time here, if you'll humor me on that. So when I was 26 years old, I applied for a job here in San Diego County. It was with a company called Mocha, and who it was a distributor for Sun Microsystems products. So this is going way back. Mocha eventually got acquired by Arrow, so we all know Arrow ECS,
Mm-hmm.
the distributor. I was really excited about the opportunity, and I didn't get it. They gave it to a man who had, this is funny, a bigger Rolodex than I had, which means we use network now, but back then we used the word Rolodex. So he had a bigger Rolodex. And I was super bummed because I really wanted the job. The company was just, it seemed like a perfect fit. So lucky for me, during that interview process, I really connected with someone who saw my potential, and she rang me a few weeks later and she said, "Listen, I want to hire you, but I want to hire you for a marketing position," which was different than sales, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
"And if you want to do it, you've got to move across the country and move to Atlanta." And I was like,
Oh,
"Wow."
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, so talk about a risk. I thought, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? I could always move home. And the best thing that can happen is that I stretch myself and I learn more, and I um, build out my Rolodex, right? I expand my network. So the outcome, you asked about the outcome of it. 10 months later, the company asked to move me back to San Diego to take the role that they'd previously given to that man. So
I
I got
love it.
I know. I got back into sales, and I ended up staying with the organization for 15 years, worked my way up. And in my last role, I created, launched, and led a program that within 2 years became a $2 billion business. So,
That's amazing.
yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is take the risk. If you can,
Yeah.
it's not going to upset. I was single at the time. It was a dog, me, and a car,
Yeah.
right? That hard,
Yeah.
but if you can take a risk, then and you can see that it's going to make you grow or stretch a little bit, go for it.
I love that. That is great advice. What a
Yeah.
good story. Especially because you got to go back to California. I live in
I know.
Georgia,
Thank
so I
God
know
for
how
that.
hot it is.
Great city. I loved
All
living there.
right.
I will say, yeah, I absolutely loved living on the East Coast for that time that I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like totally different experience. And like you said, it helped stretch and helped you grow.
Well,
Um,
and the
I
network, I mean, to go,
oh
oftentimes
yeah.
people's network are really only in region if they're, regionally
Mm-hmm.
based. But that, I mean, I'm so blessed to have such a vast network, really a global network. It's been really and powerful to my success.
Amazing. All right, I think we have time for one more. So I'm going to ask, have you ever been in a role that you didn't like? And if so, how did you navigate through that?
Yes, and sadly, probably more times than I want to admit. But and that can happen for a variety of reasons, right? There can be a shift
Mm-hmm.
in leadership. There can be a change in the direction of the organization. I would say each time I really just dug in, and I would sit down and think about, okay, what is this? What is going on? What is it about the role that I don't like? What can I change? And um, I would take some of that and communicate it back to leadership. And I wouldn't complain. I would just say,
Hmm.
this is what I'm seeing. This is how I'm feeling. I would, maybe like to try and shift and do this. And if that opportunity wasn't available at that time, but I saw a path to a different opportunity, I would wait it out. And sometimes it really is a waiting game, right? So I think
Right.
digging in really is, and just thinking about what's most important to you at the time, and seeing if you can wait would be great. I actually have a female colleague. She's one of my dearest friends that I met in the industry. She's still in the industry. She said to me, think of it as sandpaper, right? So, this role that you're in right now is like the sandpaper that's kind of rubbing you and refining you and molding you into what's next for you. So if you could bear through some of that grit at that time, right? That rub, I think
Hmm.
it just betters you for your next role. But if you don't see that, then freshen up that resume and get out, because there's nothing worse than staying in a role that it's, if you're going to be unhappy for too long, it's not worth it. So
Yeah. Heather, it has been such a pleasure getting to know you. I am so thrilled to have you as an advocate in the Women of the Channel Leadership Network, and for all women out there. Thank you again for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week this week.
it is truly my honor, and thank you for hosting me. It's incredible. I really appreciate the time, and thank you for all that you do for the Leadership Network and Women of the Channel. Just you're really making changes, and please keep driving and encouraging women to push harder, and to lift as they climb. So thank you for lifting us as you climb.
Thank you so much. That means a lot,
Yeah,
truly.
well, I appreciate you very much.
I love it. What a way to end. But we're not ending. So, community members, please comment, share your ideas, share your advice and insights, or, you know, cheer on Heather as we celebrate her this week. Until next time, happy Wednesday.